You have normal
Say
anti-air.
2,000 pounds?
Yep, two 2,000-pound JDAMs.
20-foot air burst.
20-foot air burst. So don't drop them at 20 feet.
Yeah. Do not descend.
Yeah, don't descend. You can drop them at 30 feet. We'll say 30 feet. But don't drop them anywhere below that because you might get messed up.
Three, two, one, release. Gear and flaps, stand. I'm coming out of burn. I'm going to come back off so you can close it up. Keep it going straight, G. Ready. Doing all right?
Yep.
All right, ready to go. Turning right. 3, 2, 1.
You're pulling away just a bit.
Rolling wings level now. I'm going coupled.
2. Man, this is a pain in the ass. This is a major pain in the ass, but I'm sticking with you.
Yeah, if you get too far off, you'll lose me completely until we pop out.
I just about did when I told you you were getting too far ahead of me. Just about lost you.
I'm going to drop down to about 5 degrees. the soup. Is that a little better?
Yep.
You ready to speed up?
2.
We'll go to 325, see what that does. Put my nose down a little bit.
2.
Go 5 degrees.
Not gonna be able to hold 25. I'm at full mill and dropping.
All right, let's level. You want to go down to 18?
No, we can hold 2-0.
Okay, going up to 20 then. Zero, 30 feet.
2.
$300 managed.
2. Welcome back, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Today's mission is going to be a good one. We got some dynamic weather going on. What do you think, Punch?
Yeah, this ought to be interesting. Haven't flown in weather much, so it should be interesting trying to use the radar to bomb and getting back down on the ground.
Yeah, so today, since we got the weather, the T-pods are going to be completely useless, I think, around the target area. So we're going to have to drop these JDAMS on the targets from the air-to-ground radar. That's what we're going to use today. Hopefully with these 2,000-pound JDAMs close, it's going to be good enough. It's kind of like grenades, but bigger. I got the nose set to an airburst. The nose fusing set to 20-foot airburst. We'll see what happens with that. I've never used them before. Looks like our cap flights are up front doing their thing, doing what they're supposed to. But today's mission, there is a local contact that ran.
Going down.
All right, thank you. There's a local contact that came across, looks like enemy repair facilities for military vehicles and equipment, and we are tasked today with going to destroy those 2 buildings. Like a factory garage looking building, and so we're heading there to take them out. Hope you guys enjoy the flight. It's, as you can see, it's been I'm working hard over here through the clouds and after takeoff to stay in formation with Punch to keep him visible. Probably what usually would have happened IRL is a hold on the runway and then I go 5 seconds later instead of a formation takeoff, but what fun is that, huh? makes you a better pilot, as long as you don't take out your flight lead. So hope you guys enjoy the mission, and it should be a good one. Have to brighten my screens.
Yeah, it's a tough one to see.
Splashed 1.
So I'm really concerned. I've been having a lot of trouble with the replays failing on load, and I don't have any replays for any of our missions the last few weeks. The last one I got was in the Apache, and then I started having problems with all the replays have failed.
The file's not there, or is it just a bad file?
Bad files. You're out of managed. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on, but even the server ones are bad. That's when I messaged you and was asking you if the server has one, because all of mine are junk, don't work. They won't load. It just says mission load failed, and then it basically locks the game up.
Well, that sucks, I guess. If you really wanted to have something in there, you could put in like TAC view.
Yeah, so what I've been doing is after the missions don't load, I'm like, son of a bitch. So I end up putting an AI in your airplane and basically going in and redoing the takeoffs and shit so I can get some recording on it. It's rather irritating.
Yeah, that sucks. Well, if that's the case, I mean, I should have a file, and if it's corrupted, then there's something bigger going on.
Yeah, so I'm trying something this time, and I hope it works. I just deleted every file that I have. If you're looking to save space, every flight that we do, it's automatically saving a track file. I got rid of a gigabyte of multiplayer track files out of my save games folder.
Yeah, well, nothing.
Say again, you cut out?
If you need one of my track files, let me know. It might be better than nothing if it works.
Yeah, we'll try it and see what happens with this one. Because I really like right now. This would be I can get some really good shots right now with this formation flying with all the clouds and the sun, and plus coming up through the clouds would be cool.
Right. My radar looks pretty good. I can see roads, kind of crazy looking roads, structures down there.
Affirm. All right, so I forgot to tell you one thing in the briefing. The steer point is right in between the two buildings. So where it's pointing at the steer point, they're right. That's where the buildings are at, the targets. And so let's see if we can't get them hashed out and separated as we get up there, and then you can tell me which one to take. And I plan on just dropping both bombs on my building.
Copy, yeah. I'll do the same.
barely see the HUD with the sun.
Yeah, no. I've got mine all the way up. Really can't read the distance.
We're just under 100 miles.
Yeah. Looks like 80 something or 90 something.
I'm showing 97 even.
Yep, 97.0 for me on the SA.
One, be advised, we are currently transiting the tanker track. Tankers are at our 9 o'clock.
Looks like some F-16s over there too.
Yep, A firm. We got quite a few cap flights going up today. Actually, that's the tankers in front of us at 2-4.
Yeah. Low and to about my 6 o'clock. Those might have been fighters.
1, check speed.
Gonna have to tighten up this throttle.
For when I have my speed managed in the F-18, I set numpad 0 and the numpad period, and I use those to talk when I manage speed.
Yeah, might be a good idea. Let's fence in. Start getting busy in about 40 miles.
2, copies, fencing in. Two, fenced in, fuel state 9.4.
11.7.
Alright, so I am currently fenced in. I'm going to get my air-to-ground radar set up. Power on my JDAMS. Making the air-to-ground radar soy so I can manipulate the targeting.
We'll maintain 300. If you want to drop a little bit lower, that's fine. We can, but just want to buy some time while we're looking at these radar returns.
2 copies. 2, permission to drop a couple thousand feet with separation.
Affirm.
2. Alright, I'm going to drop down a couple thousand feet because we're going to be heads down looking at our air-to-ground radars. That way we don't hit each other. 1, say heading.
109.
2. Alright, so now
I show 6-9 miles. My radar doesn't pick up until at least 40.
copy, show the same. Alright, I dropped down a couple thousand feet, going ahead and turn on the altitude hold so that way I can manipulate the radar. So don't plan, if you use the air-to-ground radar, don't plan to be completely precise with it. I'm just hoping that I get close enough with these JDAMs to do some damage. But that's the only option we have through the clouds. What you could do is you could set steer points on each of the buildings in the mission editor, but I just want to, and then just drop your JDAMs on the steer point. But I would like to use the air-to-ground radar, even though it's not very precise, just because it makes you a more well-rounded pilot, in my opinion. I gotta make sure I keep looking over at Punch, make sure I'm not converging with him as we're getting closer to the target area. You don't want to fly straight at the target when you're using your air-to-ground radar, because the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, right? So you want to give yourself some time to be able to manipulate the radar, find the targets that you're looking for. So you want to kind of offset your heading. In the F-16, usually up at the top, if you, like right here, right next to my gun cross, it says 010. I think that's at 10 degrees. Usually I go for 20 degrees offset. That gives you a lot more time to find your target and what you're looking for. 1-2 is going to check right for 20-degree offset.
Copy. I'm doing the same left for radar offset.
2. So since we are offsetting quite a bit, I am going to go in here to select Punch as a primary data link track. That way I can make sure I easily can see where he's at. And right up there you see it at 020 next to the gun cross now. I'm 20 degrees offset. And it's in auto mode. As you get closer, it's going to zoom in the map on your ground radar. But I'm going to go ahead and switch it to manual. You can either hit this button, the OSB selector right here, and change it from auto to manual or back to auto, or you can change it back to manual by increasing or decreasing your radar range. My radar is pointed up a little bit. That's not going to be helpful. Once we get closer, I will change the scan area, the back and forth here. Right now it's at a 6. I'll change it to a 3, and then as you get really close, you can change it all the way down to a 1, which is really fast refresh rate on your radar.
2, do you have any intel on what features may be around the targets?
That's a firm. The guy said that they just opened these and they kind of built them outside of the city, so they're kind of by themselves.
Copy.
Making sure I keep an eye on Punch. So I'm about 40 miles out now. My 40 range is coming in. That cross right there that I'm moving around on my ground radar, it slaves to your steer point. Just like with the targeting button, this thing, you can cursor 0. And that'll go to your steer point. All these white areas on here are returns that the ground radar is picking up. As I get closer, I should be able to resolve the 2 buildings. Now, if they were moving targets, like if I'm looking for vehicles, you could hit this OSB selector right there and then change it to ground moving target. And that should pick up anything that's on the ground that's moving. And so it won't be all washed out like this. It's a great way to find moving targets. But these targets are stationary, so I'm going to keep it in GM mode. just a tad bit off. Bringing it over just a tad. That's what's causing my little bit of roll, is my trim is just a tad bit off. As I get closer, I'll zoom in on the target areas to find what I'm looking for. Go to the other screen, making sure the JDAMS are powered on. They are. We're going to do an impact angle of 60 degrees. If we were going to attack inside of a highly populated area, I would set that to a much steeper angle, 80, even 90 degrees. Although I haven't had much luck hitting the targets with a 90-degree drop angle. Choose 25 miles to target, fuel state 8.7.
22 miles, 10.7.
Getting much closer. I got to turn in just a little bit. I got a 30-degree offset, a little too much. I know I'm going slower than Punch. I want to make sure, because I don't want both of us to converge on the same area at the same time. All right, we're starting to resolve a couple things there in the target area. I'm 20 miles out. Make that 18. So what I'm going to do now is expand the view a couple times to this number 2 as far in as I can expand it. And then I'm going to up my refresh rate, which I don't think does anything in this mode. But right there you see there's 2 targets right in the middle of the view. Now you don't really want to move your select point around in this mode right here, because as you see, if I put it over there, it just moves it way too far. So what you do is when you're ready, and you
I don't know about this.
Yeah, they're pretty close. So what you're going to do is you will freeze this right here button. That's a freeze function on the radar. You'll hit that, and then that way you can move this around without the whole entire picture moving. 13 miles. I don't know how much more resolution I'm going to get. Messing with the contrast and brightnesses. See if I can't pull out a better picture. $10 miles. I'm going to go ahead and freeze it. One, be advised, I barely show 2 contacts down. I'm going to engage on the right contact.
Alright, I can't get enough resolution to tell. There's some stuff down here, but one looks like more buildings than there should be, like a little city.
Alright, so what you do is you put your crosshairs, try to line it up perfectly with the building, and then you TMS forward, and that creates your point. TMS aft gets rid of the selection if you want to adjust. And this
Gonna
right,
extend out, refocus back on that steer point.
All right, copy. 2's inbound. And that, folks, is exactly why it's not very, very precise on that.
Could the structures be beyond the waypoint?
Negative, right on.
Okay.
I think mission planning put the steer point in between the buildings.
Copy.
All right, I'm turning in. Really janky up here. Two away.
Caution. Caution.
Looking pretty good. Not even close. See, that's the precision.
Weapon was effective.
Did something.
Yeah, I think I got some ground troops that were nearby. Building is untouched. 2's rejoining. Unfortunately, that happens. When you're using the air-to-ground radar, you're going to miss, especially if it's a small target. If it's a larger target, it's a lot easier to get a lock on it with the ground radar. Let's see if we can find Punch. I see him. Lost my primary data link track on him. There he is. 2's visual.
Vehicle, times 2.
2 copies.
That was a big dud. Big nothing.
Yeah, that's the problem with using the air-to-ground radar. I'll go ahead and call in the bomber flights. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and call the backup bombers. They really wanted to get these targets. Weren't sure if we were going to be able to, so we're going to call in some backup. That's all right. I don't mind. That's Punch in front of me. I'm going to go ahead and stay here.
Are you saddled?
Negative. I'm a couple miles behind you in trail.
Okay. turning towards our steer point 2. When you get a chance, can you give me the channel number?
Yeah.
Course. The runway course heading.
Copy. Coordinates updated. Copy. Coordinates updated. Threats have been suppressed. You may begin your bombing run. Affirm. Taking off. On my way to bomb the target location.
Very nice. Interselect channel 21 X-ray.
21X. What's that runway heading, do you know?
055. Alright, we are going to have to set up for an ILS. Head over to punch.
One is 9.0.
2, 7.4.
You good on a flight back, no refuel?
2, affirm.
I'm 258 managed at 15,000. Gonna climb a little bit though.
2's visual close, 436 knots.
Speeding up.
I'm at 400 knots, really close.
I'm burner.
Come on, you're good.
Repeat.
You're good. Alright, it's going to be an ILS approach today. Back into Inserley. This should be fun. I think it was 109.10. I'm going to have to double check.
Climb us to 20.
2. 109.3. Okay, so setting up for the ILS, I'm going to select ILS. I have to wait just a second, get saddled with punch here.
How far back are you?
I'm close. Just try not, I'm not going to get saddled just yet because I'm going to be heads down setting up for the ILS.
Copy. What's your speed?
364. Alright, so setting up for the ILS, click 1 on the upfront controller, for the TACAN and ILS. Dauber down until you get to the frequency, and then you enter your frequency in. This time it is 109.3. 109.3, then you put in your approach course. Your approach course, you can get that from the map, the F-10 map. You have to use the ruler and go down the side of the runway just a little bit and see what the course is for the runway. Here, I'll show you. You get here to the runway, use the ruler, and then you line it up with the edge. It's moving around a lot because my VR. 055 degrees is the closest I can get. So do 55, enter. Turning that ILS station down. So your ILS, if you have this knob, if you have that knob turned all the way down to shut the identifying beeps off, it will actually turn off your ILS completely. So you have to have that on. Rather annoying having to listen to the beeps, but you just turn it up to where it's on, but you barely hear them. It's not too bad. And then to do the final setup for it, after your ILS is on, you have your frequency and course. You got to look down here, hit this button to the ILS.
Can you say that runway heading again?
055.
055.
And once you hit that, you should see the ILS markers in your HUD and right here on your backup ADI. And you should be good to go. I keep this ILS switch down there, but my throttle's off for a while until we get closer to where we need to go. As you can see why I was getting static from that channel, because I'm a little too far to pick up the identifying beeps, the identifying Morse code for that ILS.
Channel error. TACAN's good, but channel's no good for the ILS.
Of course.
So this will be a TACAN step down landing.
Copy.
Likely will be in the soup, so since you have ILS precision, you'll be number one. I'll follow. I have to come in, start my approach at about 10 miles out.
Copy. Do you want to tie your radar to me as we're coming in? Might help you just a tad, give you visual reference where you should be on your glide slope.
Yep, that's what I'll do.
All right, copy. And do you want me to do a low pass and then come back around in case I need to bring you in?
Yeah, that'd be good.
All right, 2 copies. Two is saddled. It's a bummer we didn't hit the targets, but I didn't expect much out of that. It's just not enough precision on the ground radar to hit something. You have to be pretty close, pretty lucky, and it has to be larger targets for you to be able to discern it better.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's the key. Larger targets. Like a runway or something like that would be no problem.
You know, all the examples I've seen with the air-to-ground radar, they go to an airfield and attack aircraft sitting on the ramp or something.
Yeah, that would be good because the ramp and runway are good visual markers. You can almost eyeball in then. right, at about 10 miles, we'll do a reciprocal heading, get on the other side of the airfield for an approach.
2 copies. One, are you showing 9 or 8 miles?
977, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
2 copies. Cap flights were nice. We were able to keep our heads down and didn't have to worry about anything else.
That is helpful.
Want to fence out?
Affirmative, fence out.
Two, fenced out. Fuel state 6.4.
1, 7.3. be turning left at 235 degrees at 10 miles. Once established on that, start a descent.
2 copies. When did you want me in front of you?
Probably right before we turn, so if you want to get in position.
Two. Swapping sides and then I'll overtake you. Two's coming up.
It's like we're just getting ready to go eat wet here in a minute or two.
Alright, 2's got lead.
Two has lead. You have a runway altitude.
Stand by. You're passing.
At 264. Slowing down.
159 feet.
Thank you.
Alright, so the plan is my ILS is working, so Punch is going to follow me in. He's going to tie his radar to he's going to tie his air-to-air radar to my aircraft, and then that's going to give him a visual representation of where I'm at in front of him. And what he's going to do is basically do a VOR/TACAN approach into runway 5 while following me in. So that's the plan. And then I'm just going to do a low approach and come back around, set up for another ILS approach just in case Punch can't make it down and he has to follow. And just in case Punch can't make it down, I have to take him in. He'll get on my wing, and we will do that. So that's the plan. Two is showing 18 miles. Two showing 17 miles. double checking, making sure my ILS is on, making sure I'm on the correct frequency. 1093, 1093. 055 on the heading.
Good hit on target.
Ah, I forgot about the bomber.
Yeah.
1, reciprocal heading, checking left. Or 2, sorry. Currently not picking up the ILS just yet.
Might be too high. I don't know. 5 miles out. I'm gonna be trail.
Copy. I'm going to descend down to the cloud tops. Wondering if it's not the reciprocal runway.
Right. Maybe it's the other direction now.
1, inbound.
Calling inbound. Make sure you set your altimeter. Altimeter's 2820, runway 5.
28205.
There we go. Alright, I'm picking up the ILS. Speed's coming down. I'm going to continue my descent into the clouds. 5 degrees nose down. You have me tied.
Negative, too close, can't block it. I have you on data link though.
Copy. Here we go, into the soup. 2's passing 12,450 knots, slowing. Coming left, heading 230. .400 knots, 9,300 feet. Alright, I'm going to be in a right turn to intercept the localizer.
Call your turn.
Say again?
Are you turning now?
Yeah, turning. Passing through 280 degrees, 290, 378 knots.
Altitude.
6,300. I'm going to level at 5. Went through the localizer because I turned in a little too close. Excuse me, 340 knots, 5,500 feet, 050. I'm turning to 080 degrees to intercept the localizer.
Copy, I show 30 miles. Do you show 30 miles?
Yep, 30 miles, and I'm going to hold at 5,000.
Copy. I'm holding it at about 64.
Okay. Make sure my landing light's on. 2's 314 knots, 5,000. Going 090 degrees. Turn in final. So pretty much I'm just going to be chasing the needle here. So I'm not that good at hand flying F-16 on a ILS approach. I haven't done it enough. 314 knots, 5,000 feet, 050 degrees. I'll let you know when glide slope's alive and I start descending. Slowing to 300 knots. I just keep looking down at my needle, trying to center my needle onto the ILS. So I'm a little bit too far to the right. There was a flash of lightning. Trying to line up a little bit better.
Do you show the TACAN or ILS DAN?
DAN is the TACAN. $12 miles out. I'm at 300 knots, 5,000 feet, 046 degrees, trying to slowly come in. And all right, I'm descending. My glide slope just came in. I'm too high. Altitude. Throttle is too idle. I am going to. I'm at 10 miles, and I'm going to get set up for the low approach and go around.
Miles.
Copy, I'm at 285 knots, 3,700 feet, and 10 degrees nose down, lined up on the runway.
Say heading again.
Heading 055, lined up with the runway. I'm at 250 knots, gears coming, 2,400 feet. Starting to get a little too low on the glide slope. Don't have the ground just yet. Still too low on my glide slope. Way too low. Still don't have the ground. One's got the ground, 1,000 feet, or 2, sorry. Three miles from the runway, still don't see it.
7.5 miles.
2.5 miles, don't have the runway. Way too low. Mile and a half. My alignment's way off. This is a terrible.
Here comes the rain.
I got the runway at half mile. I'm currently over the threshold, holding altitude. You're cleared to continue.
Altitude.
Two's going missed. Alright, I'm gonna climb back above the clouds. I went ahead, did a low pass just to make sure that he can get in. And if he can't, you'll just have to get on my wing and I'll have to take him down on the ILS. How you looking? Oh no, did he hit the ground?
On the ground.
Copy, on the ground. Very nice. You didn't answer and then it said Sting 8 clear to startup. I thought you hit the ground.
Yeah, I didn't tell you how I got to the ground.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I was going real slow, so I buy time, and I was popping out of the soup, and I was looking, and I didn't catch that I was going too slow. And then I felt it stall, and it just sank.
Dang.
I'm gonna try and taxi out there and watch.
Copy. Get my trim reset. Okay. See if it can't do a little bit better this time on my approach. Did you ever make it through the cloud layer and see the ground before you stalled?
Yeah, but it's very low.
Yeah, I broke out about 1,000. I didn't see the runway until half a mile. Okay, it should be picking the ILS back up here shortly. As soon as I hear the beeps. There's the beeps. Went out a little too far last time I was at a 20-mile final. I don't want to go that far out again. Probably do about 15 and then start my turn in. Get my nose down. About 13 miles out. I'm going to set up for a 15-mile final.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to start my turn. Don't want to be dropping that fast, so I hold up just a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know what the problem is exactly, but there's definitely something janky with the map and these VR goggles, because I looked at the map again and I'm jerking all over.
Great.
Altitude. Altitude.
It's 5,000 feet. I don't want to go any lower. Turning in. Hold altitude at 5,000. Want to hold around 300 knots. Needle's coming in, so I'm going to turn to intercept 055 for the ILS. Problem is I can't see where it's where the wind's pushing me. Can't really tell. So constantly kind of adjust and fight. 2's on final, 10 miles. Make sure I don't get too low. This one.
Got 2. I took my goggles off, they blanked out. Put them back on, they're back, and the jerking's gone.
Yeah, that's weird.
I have a visual on you.
Copy. There we go. My glide slope's coming up to the altitude that I should be. Just trimming for on speed. And I'm lined up pretty good right now. Getting a little low. Bring the power up just a bit to decrease my descent rate. There is kind of a crosswind. And that's what's throwing me off on my alignment with the localizer. Still too low. bring my nose up just a tad with the power. So that way I can slow my descent rate. Contact the ground. Still a little too low on the glide slope. Whether it's in this game or in Flight Sim, I'm always coming in low on the glide slope. Always. Just been hand flying this whole time, waiting to see the runway.
Do you see the ground now?
They affirm don't have the runway.
Alright, you're looking pretty good. Just keep on it.
Got the runway. I don't know why it starts wobbling like that. Something with my control inputs. There's punch. Hit kind of hard. Did a Navy landing. Yep. Well, I appreciate everybody's support. I hope you guys enjoyed the mission. And Punch, any last words?
Oh, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you all next week. Thank you.